Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Just on the Jimmy Dore show. 1.76 million subscribers. Um, kind of got watching him through the Charlie Kirk um, affair, really. Yeah, sort of come on my radar for the Charlie Kirk affair and covering the shit show that is the Charlie Kirk affair, to be honest. But today we're on COVID. Full of cold as well. Hold on, I need to sniff up. The Jimmy Dore show. Sorry, how the COVID vax makes your body attack itself with Dr. John Campbell. So Dr. John Campbell on the left there in the smaller screen from Carlisle in Cumbria, not far from myself. Yeah, kind of come. He got semi-famous, if that's the right word, or internet famous during COVID because he's just a doctor from Carlisle. He's not a conspiracy theorist of any way, shape, or form. And through COVID and being a doctor, and he's not on the pay. He's not on the payroll anymore of the government and the pharmaceutical industry. I think he was retired and he's just got a YouTube channel and followed COVID. And through COVID, he discovered many things, to be honest. Again, a lot of us out there thought it was a depopulation agenda. I didn't have a single vaccine for many reasons. One, it was tested. Two, I didn't believe it was a fucking. I didn't believe the hype, to be honest. I didn't believe the hype from day one. It was clearly a massive psyop. The signs were there very early on. It was obvious to me what was going on. But as I mentioned before, most of these people are stupid. So, depending on how many COVID vaccines you had, as I've mentioned before, it's a stupidity test, to be honest. Depending on how many COVID vaccines you had, that's how fucking stupid you are. So, you might, again, all use a lot that have had loads of COVID vaccines. You'll be sitting in the seat of denial here, undeniably. The seat of denial. Oh, I'm not stupid. No, you are. How many COVID vaccines you had shows how stupid you are. So trust us, you're sitting in the seat of ignorance there. We're sitting in the seat of not having any of these vaccines. And we're absolutely telling you, depending on how many COVID vaccines you are, that's how stupid you are. So, moving on from your stupidity here, you can live and learn. That's the beauty of this. Live and learn. When it comes round again, which it will, not necessarily COVID, but some other bullshit will come again. Maybe live and learn, assess the situation before you go diving in the queue for the vaccines. Just a thought there. So, yeah, you got absolutely fucked over with these vaccines. Like, I mean, they play it out like it was an accident. You know what I mean? It was an, oh, yeah, we didn't mean to. Sorry. But yeah, this was always a possibility. Again, the main reason, or the main reason I was trying to sort of tell people not to get this vaccine was because it hadn't been tested, and they told you that themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like the first words out of the mouth of the news guy, I remember it vividly. Like, it takes 5 years to make a vaccine. We've done it in 6 months. That was in literally the words of the guy. Right, well, hold on a minute here. Is it safe? Is the first question. And then that wasn't asked. Nobody asked that, you know what I mean? It's fundamentally the first question. You should have been asking, is this safe? And the answer is, we don't know. We don't know, so then your answer should be, well, fuck that. You know what I mean? That should have been the way it went out, but no, it didn't, because you're all stupid. And you listened to the powers that be, and you hadn't figured out, and you should have by now, that the powers that be are not on our team, right? It should be obvious to everybody at this point. The powers that be are not on our team, right? It's more obvious today than ever, but that's been the crack for pretty much all of your life. You just didn't figure it out in time. So, sorry to be so high and mighty with my lack of COVID vaccines here, but the proof's in the pudding. The proof's in the pudding. I'm absolutely so full of coal. Hold on a minute. but ironically as well, I've got cold quite. It's fucking been coming on for days and slowly getting worse. Um, yeah, I feel probably worse now than I did when I've had COVID twice. And I didn't. I feel worse now than I did both times I had COVID. And yeah, as I don't understand why people were so scared of a cold. Do you know what I mean? And like, again, it was pretty obvious that everybody with flu was being put down as COVID because flu wasn't being mentioned anymore. You know what I mean? There was signs. There was fucking signs. So anyhow, live and learn is the ultimate lesson here. Live and learn. Should he come round again, which is predicted too, not necessarily COVID, just a pandemic of bullshit to get you all in line for a vaccine. Live and learn. Absolutely live and learn here. So yeah, let's listen to this.
I'm angry for myself, but I'm absolutely livid for these people that have suffered. And of course, many people, Jimmy, aren't here anymore.
Yes, that's right.
You know, they've paid the ultimate price.
What is exactly the worst part about the COVID-19 vaccine? I know there's lipid nanoparticles.
Yeah, sure.
And
Yeah, they've paid the ultimate price, he said there. And again, it's very, very serious. Like, that's the beauty of this. We laugh and joke around, but it's because we have to, because it's all been said and done, and you just didn't fucking listen. Do you know what I mean? You just didn't listen. Me and plenty of people like me were telling you not to get the vaccine, but we're all conspiracy theorists, obviously. Yeah, telling you not to get the vaccine, and look what the fuck's happened. You know what I mean? So if you think in the aftermath of it, we're going to be like all apologetic because you were too stupid to listen, then the answer's no, to be honest, because like you were too stupid to listen, and only through this mockery would you maybe learn that next time this comes around to actually listen to people who give a fuck about you, and not to the news and the government who don't give a fuck about you. Yeah, have you ever thought of that? You ever thought of that angle? You know what I mean? Yeah, that was definitely the angle. We are your friends, and we're fucking in your communities, and we care about you people and your health. And the government and the fucking pharmaceutical companies do not give a fuck about your health. So you decided to listen to the people who do not give a fuck about your health against the people who do care about your health. You know what I mean? Just because they painted it like they give a fuck about your health. This is where the stupidity comes back in. Do you know what I mean? This is truly where the stupidity comes back in. You're too stupid to figure out that your friends and family care about you, and the government and the pharmaceutical companies do not. You know what I mean? I mean, that should be glaringly fucking evident at this point. Do you know what I mean? 5 years down the road here. But even then, at least 50% of these people are still stupid. Yeah, that's the bottom line here. 50%, probably more. It's probably more. I'll go with 70% of these people are still stupid. So this will play out again. It truly will, because these people don't listen and they're stupid and they don't live and learn. That's they do not live and learn.
And it doesn't stay in your arm like they said. So just and what the effects of all that is, and this, talking about cancer and virility and so could you go ahead and take it where you want?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so many interesting points there. I'll come on to.
Yeah, again, I'll stress a bit before he says all of this. It was a depopulation agenda, right? There's too many people on the planet. It's probably why we're going to have a war as well, to be honest. There is too many people on the planet, exponential growth, 9 billion becomes 16 billion in about 10 years. So there's too many people on the planet is kind of the crack. And it's not really my crack. That's not, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck how many people are on the planet. It's nothing to do with me. It doesn't really affect my life. I won't be here that long in the scheme of things, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not my opinion that there's too many people on the planet. It's the people who run the planet opinion that there's too many people on the planet. That's where the problem lies here. The actual people who matter, who make the decisions. That's their opinion, not mine. So yeah, it's a depopulation agenda, very much so, and in the proofs in the aftermath. You know what I mean? But you don't tell people it's a depopulation agenda. You know what I mean? That's not the way of things here. You don't tell people like No, you do it by stealth and through the back door, obviously, you know what I mean? So if you still can't connect the dots here, you are truly fucking stupid and there's no hope, is a way of looking at it as well.
To that, Jimmy. But yeah, I think Bobby Kennedy said this is the biggest wealth transfer in the 20th century or something in his book. You know, the real Anthony Fauci. There's a huge transfer of wealth from poorer people to richer people.
Yeah, completely. As the economy completely dies on its ass, and as inflation ravages society, and everything costs a fortune, well, all the people with all the money won't have a problem buying all of it, will they? Whereas all of us peasants who don't have that money will struggle. So, yeah, massive transfer of wealth as well. That was, again, it was kind of going on in the background. Again, printing money hand over fist, completely destroying economies. That's why we're in the current economic climate that's very much in a lot of trouble. And again, another budget in 3 months, I believe, where we'll get fucked over yet again by this government and Rachel Reeves, if she's still in the job. Um, yeah, if you can't see what's happening at this point, you know what I mean. Honestly, you're fucking stupid. You really are. Yeah, it's honestly, it's beyond obvious. It's fucking beyond obvious. I mean, the other side of it is we've told you the entire plan. Like we've told you the entire plan, and it's all there to be seen. It's absolutely all there to be seen at this point. Totalitarian government, world government. We're not quite on that level yet, but we need a war. But there's mentions, there's rumours of war, as you might have seen there. So yeah, we're far from finished. Don't get me wrong. The plan is far from over, but the plan is in full effect.
And the origins thing, well, that paper, that paper, the last time I checked, hadn't been withdrawn.
No.
It's actually still there.
Yeah.
And I've talked to biochemists and virologists, and they said, that they knew a while back from the biochemistry of the virus and this furin cleavage site thing, the bits of it that just shouldn't be there, that aren't there in other natural human coronaviruses, that they were convinced of that pretty early on. And the idea that, see, if you have a natural pandemic, you have a reservoir of the virus in nature. So suppose it's in.
Notice how he said a natural pandemic there. Again, this was a complete fucking. I mean, it was an absolute psyop shit show, the likes of which you've literally never seen, because this was worldwide. And yet again, these people have short memories. But remember back to COVID and the worldwide lockdown. This is very much the shape of the new world order. Like this is control, world control, a world government. It's all there to be seen. And yet again, if you cannot see this coming down the line in 2026 now, you're fucking honestly, you're literally, your head is so far up your ass. You don't even know that this is a sheep. It would be the current situation, I would imagine. Yeah, honestly, if you cannot see the fucking future is awful, then you're stupid. So yeah, natural pandemic. This was very much not a natural pandemic.
I don't know, whatever it's in, whatever animal it's in, it'll pop up here and it'll pop up there and it'll pop up somewhere else. COVID didn't do that. It just started one place in one time, at most two. And, it's just the evidence for it being a lab-based leak is overwhelming. And I think two of the main intelligence agencies in the States now say that's the probable origin of it. But it's disconcerting that so many papers have been withdrawn on things like
I believe the lab as well was owned by Bill Gates in China, although they kind of blame it on China. It was Bill Gates' lab. Again, Bill Gates, who owns half the farmland in America, and they're pretty much trying to get the farmland in England. The industrialists, the businessmen, again, you do not want these people controlling your food. What are they going to put in your food? And believe me, already, if you go and look at a lot of food, especially in America, it's full of shit, like full of cancerous causing agents. A depopulation agenda can work on many levels. This is called, I would call this, it's soft kill, this vaccine, but it's very much hard kill because it was that obvious. Putting shit in all your food is, again, soft kill. You get cancers and things down the line. You don't know how it occurred. It occurred because you were eating things and drinking things you shouldn't have been eating and drinking. So, yeah, this is, again, fluoride, etc. in water. It's actually more than fluoride. It's hydrofluoric acid. 22 compounds that they put in the water supply, that pretty much none of them you should drink, of these 22 compounds. Yeah, you're poisoned to death from birth, to be honest. Like, that's the other side of it. Yeah, the water, the food in supermarkets, mass processed food, vaccines, any opportunity these people can get to shorten your life, because ultimately they believe you to be a useless eater. This is what's going on here. Like, any opportunity to shorten your life, because there's too many people on the planet, and you cost them money when you get to 65 and you're no fucking use anymore. So come 65, your number's up. You know what I mean? How long you can last after 65? Well, good luck, because we'll fucking pump you full of vaccines, we'll fill you full of shit, we'll poison you to death, and hopefully we don't enjoy your retirement there. So, yeah, we'll get poisoned to fucking death on every level. That's the beauty of this. But this was very much, it's still soft kill, the vaccine, but it's hard kill because it was so blatantly fucking obvious that this was a depopulation agenda and a massive psyop at the same time, completely ruining all the world's economies.
Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, the vaccine not preventing transmission. These papers have been withdrawn, and yet this paper, which is so patently ridiculous, is still there. But anyway, going on to the vaccine. So you inject this vaccine. First of all, as we've said before, some of it's going into a blood vessel, and these lipid nanoparticles. I don't know if can you see me?
Yeah.
But if that's a red blood cell there, which is about 7 microns in diameter, the lipid nanoparticles on the same scale are about that big. They're absolutely minuscule, something like 18 microns in diameter. So some will go directly into vessels if there's an inadvertent intravascular administration. And because it's given quickly at high pressure, there's going to be damage to blood vessels. So some is going to be getting into these damaged blood vessels and go all over the body. So in other words, it doesn't stay local. You get systemic distribution. It goes all over the body. When we say systemic, we mean all of the body system. So the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, your toes, your fingers.
Yeah, I mean, and this was obvious because of the amount of heart problems that people have acquired through the vaccine. Again, I know people locally have got heart problems from this vaccine. So yeah, it went right around the body. Again, the beauty of it is, I mean, this is why you've got to live and learn here. All jokes aside, you have no fucking clue on this earth what they're putting in you. No idea on any vaccine, the flu vaccine, any vaccine at all. You don't know what they're putting in you. Now, we're not saying that all vaccines are bad. That's not the case here. There is vaccines that do probably work for malaria and things like this when you go to Africa and these kind of things, so you do not die. Yeah, there is vaccines that have tried and tested an age old, and maybe some of them do some good, especially in them sort of cases when you go to foreign countries. No one's kind of denying that. Do you know what I mean? Again, the pharmaceutical industry, it's good and bad, I suppose you could say. We're just at a point in time where we're fulfilling agendas, and we're at the end game, so it's kind of flipped on its head. But the pharmaceutical industry, in essence, I mean, it's not all good. I can't say it's all good either, but it's not all bad, and not all vaccines are bad. You know what I mean? I'm sure some of them do some good work here, but ultimately this wasn't tested. It was clearly a load of bullshit and a psyop, and yeah, it's, again, I mean, I don't take the flu vaccine. And that's based on the simple reasoning that the flu isn't that common. It really isn't. You'll, on average, get flu once in your entire life, because that's how common flu is. It's not common. So, yeah, you'll get flu on average once in your entire life. So, is that justifiable to get a vaccine for? The answer's no, not really, if I'm only going to get it once. And no matter how old you are, you can get it when you're younger, you know what I mean? But once on I'm currently 45 and I have had flu once in my entire life. Once. I was in bed for 3 weeks when I was about 23, I would suggest, about that age. Yeah, once in my entire life. So, and I've asked multiple people of all ages up until the age of 93-year-old, and the 93-year-old I asked had never had flu in his entire life, never once, but yet still got the flu vaccine because the doctor told him to. Do you know what I mean? But whatever was the flu vaccine wasn't killing him anyway. It was 93, I suppose. But yeah, you don't know what. Again, they inject you with the flu. In essence, that's what happens. So you need a real good immune system to combat it when they inject you. And again, if you don't have a real good immune system, or say you have cancer or something at that point, it will probably kill you. That's the beauty of it. So anything underlying when you have these vaccines, because the immune system can't deal with the vaccine because of whatever it's already dealing with, it ultimately can kill you because you've already got something you were unaware of. So that's another risk you're taking here, you know what I mean? If you've got some illness coming on and you don't know, this could ultimately kill you because your immune system's overwhelmed and it can't deal with whatever it's already trying, and then the vaccine gets put in there. So it has to decide where's he going to go here, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's very... I just thought it's again, after as well, another one is like when we had our injections in school for TB. I mean, mine was a pussing mess, and my arm, I remember it vividly because everybody punched you on it. That was the crack. Everybody punched you on your TB at school afterwards when you were male anyway. And mine was literally just a big hole in my arm and like a pussing mess. Looked fucking awful, to be honest. I remember thinking then, fuck me, I'm never taking anything like this again. Look at the fucking state of my arm here. It's like there's literally a hole in my arm. And there's a pussing mess here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've never had TB. But I mean, so that could be a good thing in the long run. Again, TB's come back with all the migrants. So we'll see. If you get TB and you had the TB injection, it was all a load of bollocks. And that wasn't for TB. Fuck knows what that was. Who knows? Who knows? We leave our life in the hands of many people, and the problem is some of these people aren't nice and don't mean as good. You know what I mean? Generally, the people at the top. That's a good way of looking at it. When anything comes from the top down, completely ignore it and run away. So we'll crack on. Hold on.
Ureas, once it's in the blood, it goes absolutely everywhere. So it's this systemic distribution, and they're so small they get everywhere anyway, these little things. And actually, when we look back, we did know that for a while before, and it was basically ignored. But the problem is these lipid nanoparticles go everywhere. Now, before you had an injection, your body had never seen a lipid nanoparticle before. The body's not designed to cope with these. These are not a natural product. They're a synthesized product. And they contain, if we take the RNA vaccines, they contain this RNA, this ribonucleic acid, this genetic code to make the spike protein. Now, what's supposed to happen is the lipid nanoparticles are supposed to be taken in by the cells in your deltoid muscle in your arm, and a few will go to the lymph nodes in your armpits. That's what's supposed to happen. And there, the RNA is supposed to take over the protein-making machinery in your own cell, the ribosomes, make a little bit of this spike protein, cause a little bit of an immune response, and then it magically just disappears. So where do you start with that? Well, we know it doesn't magically disappear. We know it can hang around for 700 days in some studies, because what they did was they took one of the bases in the RNA and they put in a false base called pseudouridine. And David Speaker, the famous virologist in Canada who found out about the DNA contamination, he told me it makes it basically rubbery and plasticky, so the body can't get rid of it. It sticks around for ages, and it can go on and on and on, making more and more spike protein. So that means we can't control the dose. So do you remember I said before, you give the right dose of the right drug to the right patient via the right route at the right time? Well, with an RNA preparation, we don't know the dose.
because
One-
because in a normal vaccine, you know what the dose is but in an mRNA vaccine, your body's going to start making the dose inside of your body, and they don't know how to stop that process, right? So they don't really know how big the dose is going to end up actually being. So your body starts making spike proteins, for instance, and they don't know how many or how long or where it's going to go, right?
It's quite possible that it could vary by hundreds of times. So, you might make 1 unit, I might make 100 units. It's just completely unpredictable. And where it's going to go. So what actually happens is these lipid nanoparticles are taken in by the cell called slurps them up. It basically eats them, process called endocytosis. Then the DNA starts making this spike protein. And the spike protein is recognized by the cell as being a foreign viral protein. Now, this is really clever. This is really clever, Jimmy. What the body does when it has a viral infection, the immune system can't get into the cells. So what happens is, inside the cells, this viral protein is extruded by the cell onto the surface of the cell. Now, if it's on the surface of the cell, it's now exposed to the body humors and the circulatory system and the white cells. So when a cell is infected, basically it sticks a white flag out the window and says, "Oi, I'm infected here. Come and do something about it."
Yeah, I mean, I'm full of cold right now, and I've took absolutely nothing at all, to be honest. I've got some Vicks vapor rub in front of me, and I'm just rubbing a bit of Vicks vapor rub on my nose or on my upper lip now and again. And that is the action I am taking with my current illness, because I have an immune system that will eventually kick in and defeat this virus on its own, because that's what your immune system does. And again, I've had COVID twice, and I took nothing at all when I had COVID twice. I just rode it out and let, yet again, my immune system beat the virus, because that's what your immune system in your body does for a living. It's the general, that's what its day-to-day job is. It doesn't really have another job, and that's what it cracks on doing. So, again, live and learn. You have an immune system. Do you not trust your own body's immune system to fight viruses, etc.? And the answer that you give was no. I need government assistance here. I need government assistance. So, epic fail, really. Epic fail on all parts here. Again, it's a level of stupidity that I have not had a COVID vaccine because I have an immune system, that I trust my immune system. And I'm not even that healthy, you know what I mean? I'm as healthy people go. I'm not on the top of that fucking list. Nowhere near, mate. But I do have an immune system that's fed me at that time for 40 years, and I was still here. So I was doing all right, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's, again, you were convinced, you were told and convinced by the powers that be. Yet again, this is brainwashing and programming and propaganda. You were convinced that your body was not good enough to fight viruses and fight infections, and you need help here, when the reality was you did not need help, and the help given was fucking you over, as we're hearing now. And the fact that this isn't on the mainstream news, right? The fact that the mainstream news is not telling you all this information, and all the other information that John Campbell has figured out, and many other people, is ultimate proof that the mainstream media and the television are well in league with the government and the powers that be and the global agenda. Right? Undeniable. This is, again, and if you can't grasp this now, you're going to get fucked over again pretty soon down the line. So, you've got to live and learn here, you really have. We're telling you you're stupid because we don't want you to be stupid. We don't want you to get vaccines you don't need. We don't want you to get fucking health problems that weren't on the cards. They really weren't. You were fit and healthy. And then, because of all this bullshit, people are fucking dropping in droves, fucking young people dying of heart attacks and all sorts. Footballers and rugby players dropping down on the fucking pitch. Like, luckily, that's all kind of finished from what I've seen. We've managed to get past it all now, and the effects of the vaccine are the effects of the vaccine depending on who you are, but you could still, something could happen to you down the line here, who knows? But luckily, or hopefully, we've got past it all now, but this is coming back round, so we're going to have to go through this again. So we don't want to have to sit here in the aftermath as you all get fucking ill with the biggest "I told you so" in the world again. Do you know what I mean? Like, and none of yous have. The beauty of it is, it's the biggest "I told you so" in the world of all time, and half of these people still don't listen to the people who fucking told yous it was the biggest "told you so" of all time. Do you know what I mean? And like, no, you haven't lived and learned. You still haven't lived and learned. That's the beauty of this. You still haven't lived and learned. So, more fool you, because this is coming back round. There is another pandemic coming. It is all planned. It is all bullshit. And yet again, you'll roll up for a vaccine you didn't need, that could eventually kill you in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, make you ill in some way that it was never going to happen before the vaccine. So, again, do what you will with the information, sit where you want, stand in whatever line and queue you want to, but yet again, it might not be right. It might not be the right decision. So, yeah, this is honestly, you need to be told you're fucking stupid for you to not be stupid, because that's what everybody was. When COVID happened, it was like living in clown world. It really was. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, literally, clown world was coined in COVID, because it was like living in clown world when you were, if you want to use the term, awake, versus all these zombies. It was unbelievable. Like, it really was. It was like living in the zombie apocalypse. They were all fucking zombies in lines to get vaccines. Yeah, you'll never see it. You'll never see it from that side when you were in the queue, like the zombies. Can't see the wood for the trees. So, live and learn. Live and learn. That's the fucking lesson here.
And what the immune system does, it says, that cell there is infected with a virus. That means the virus in that cell is proliferating and multiplying. What I will do is I will eradicate that cell. And if you eradicate the cell, you kill the cell, what you're going to do to all the viruses in the cell, you're going to kill all those as well. So that's what the body does naturally. And so, when you get a sore throat, you get a viral infection, you think, oh, my throat really hurts. The reason your throat is hurting is because you have virally infected cells and your body's own immune system is killing those cells, leaving a wound in your throat. That's why your throat hurts, because your body's own immune system has made a wound in your throat. And that hurts. So you get this spike protein going onto the surface of the cell. And this spike protein is saying to the immune system, there's a virus in this cell. And what does the immune system do when there's a virus in the cell? It chucks in a couple of hand grenades and takes out the cell, which makes perfect sense because you're killing the viruses. Okay, you're killing a few cells as well, but you're killing the viruses, and the cells in your throat, for example, can recover over a few days. Most cells can recover over a period of time. But this lipid nanoparticle is systemically distributed. That means the RNA is systemically distributed, so it goes to all of the organs. For example, it goes to an organ called the heart. Now, suppose this virus is going through the arteries and the vasculature in the heart, in the coronary arteries. What will happen then is that some of these lipid nanoparticles will be taken up by the cells, which are lining the coronary arteries, lining the vessels inside the heart. And when that is taken up by the cell takes the RNA and makes spike protein. And some of that spike protein goes onto the surface of the cell. But remember, this is now a cell in your heart. So what does the immune system do to that cell when it sees the foreign protein?
It attacks.
Kills it.
It attacks your
kills
heart.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're killing cells in your heart. Now, would you like me to come along and kill some cells in your heart, Jimmy?
No, I do not. I would not like that.
No. I don't think that's what we want. But that's exactly what your immune.
Yeah, and killing cells in your heart. Again, this could be why people got myocarditis and other things and have heart attacks and heart problems. Probably the answer, to be honest. And yet again, this was an untested vaccine. And the reason that you shouldn't have had it was because it was untested and we didn't know asbestos right? Think of asbestos. Every time humans invent something, think of asbestos, the asbestos situation, right? We put it in everything, realised it probably wasn't the best idea, we fucked that up, right? Human beings fuck stuff up, right? We do it all the time. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. That's the rule, you know what I mean? Asbestos is the rule. So, live and learn yet again. Listen, you know what I mean? Like, listen to what's being told to you here. Listen.
Immune system does, because it's conned into thinking that these cells have a viral infection. So it does the right thing. You know, but of course, these respiratory viruses should be in your throat with cells that recover quickly. Now, once you lose a heart muscle cell, it never recovers. That's it. It's gone. It never recovers. Muscle cells don't recover. So most cells.
So there you go. They don't recover. So this is why people have got long-term health conditions and heart conditions forever. And these people could be 21. Do you know what I mean? 21-year-old, and you've got a heart condition forever. That you wouldn't have had. You were a healthy person before all this happened. Like, it's an absolute scandal, eh? It's a massive scandal, this. Like, the biggest, one of the biggest probably scandals in the entire world of all history. But it's all been covered up, and people, again, I think a lot of people who've had the vaccine, you don't want to face the truth, you know what I mean, of what you've done to yourself, and that you were stupid. Like, that's what you've got to face. You're like the fact that you were stupid, and that you just believe what you were told without question. But it's a lesson for the future, and it's a lesson of who's really in charge here and what they're willing to do to people. Yeah, like, we will probably have a war. Do you know what I mean? And it's not real. It's not like, again, I'm telling you, we're gonna have this war years in advance of the war. Like, it's all a planned shit show. And here we go, show. That's what all this is, all the TV and everything, and we've been telling you for years. But some people just do not want to believe it. But yeah, all this is a show. It's a load of bullshit. We're all being took down a road we don't want to go down, so it's meant to look like it's all real when it really isn't.
Cells in the body, you know, I've made the odd mistake having a few drinks sometimes on a Friday night, and you might give your liver a bit of a hard time. But as long as you stop drinking after that, your liver cells will recover, because the liver has phenomenal powers of mitosis and cellular regeneration, as does your throat, as does your gastrointestinal tract. But there's two tissues that don't in the body, and that is muscles and nerve tissues. They basically don't recover. And of course, you know, if someone's had a spinal cord injury, you know, think of Christopher Reeves, you know, there was no recovery from that, because the nervous cells.
Yeah, Superman. I mean, that's the world we live in, you know what I mean? A world where Superman was paralyzed, right? Think about that. Superman was paralyzed in this CERN universe, and John Lennon, the man who said peace could last forever, we shot him. Yeah, we shot him dead. So we paralyzed Superman, and the man who said peace could last forever, we shot him dead. So this is definitely the CERN universe. I've mentioned this before. CERN. We need to knock CERN off real quick, real fast, before it destroys everything. Before it destroys everything. Let's knock CERN off. So, I mean, there's a bit of mystery around CERN as well. There's like fucking all sorts of fucking weirdness and statues outside CERN of fucking Sheba and all. There's all weirdness with CERN. Like, if them people aren't opening a fucking portal to the dark side, I don't know quite what else they're doing, to be honest. I mean, I'm joking around, but at the same time, I'm kind of not joking around. Whatever they're doing there at CERN is they shouldn't be doing there. They really shouldn't. Stop fucking with the fabric of time here, because the fabric of time seems to be splitting. I mean, the Mandela effect, that came around after we knocked CERN on, didn't it? Maybe the CERN is responsible for the Mandela effect. Who knows? Anyhow, I'm full of cold, like. Luckily, my immune system will crack in eventually, we hope. So, again, I hope people are like, sorry for interrupting here, but this is very sort of interesting and informative at the same time here. But yeah, you've like, long story short, you've been fucked over. Yeah.
don't divide. And it's the same with the heart. So if you lose heart muscle cells, they're not going to recover. But suppose these cells, the lipid nanoparticles, get to the brain. Suppose they get to the nervous system. If they get to the liver can probably recover, but the kidneys can be, basically they can go anywhere. And what's also quite nice if you're a young adult is to have functional ovaries and testes. At my age, it's somewhat irrelevant, but when you're young, you want your ovaries and testes to work. You don't want cells.
Yeah. I'll just say the words again: depopulation agenda. Again, not only killing you, but killing your prospects of having children in the future. Well, that really helps out when trying to keep the population down. You know what I mean?
Being destroyed in your ovaries and testes because your immune system is destroying them, thinking they're virally infected, when in actual fact, it's a spike protein that's on the surface of those cells. So that is the problem. It can damage cells anywhere. And as well as that, there's the whole immune dysregulation thing. And, basically, you don't want to be alarmist about this, but, it's a simple fact that most of us probably get cancer a few times a day. But the reason, God willing, we don't get that terrible disease is because our immune system suppresses it. It kills the cancer. It kills the cancer cells. But if you start fiddling around with your immune system too much, who's to say that immunosurveillance isn't adversely affected? And there's sadly some data from Italy and Japan starting to give some quite worrying signs on that. We don't know.
Yep, there we go. I mentioned this, I think, last time. Worrying signs about cancers because of people who've had the vaccines. And as you said there, you get cancer a couple of times every day, possibly. But your immune system defeats it. And when you start fucking with your body and your immune system, who knows what can happen. So I feel very sorry for people that you were fucked over, to be honest. You were absolutely fucked over. And in your stupidity and trusting people that you should not trust, and we've told you for a long time not to trust these people, but you people will not listen. Apparently we're all conspiracy theorists, but it's all conspiracy theorists who are fit and healthy, who aren't dying of myocarditis, haven't had vaccines, that ultimately could kill you in the near to long future here. So just remember that. I think it's a very poignant to end on that. All the healthiest people on the earth now are the conspiracy theorists. So do with that what you will. But yeah, all the healthiest people on earth now are the conspiracy theorists. We'll leave it there. Very good. Jimmy Dore, very good. John Campbell, again, John Campbell's got his own channel. Become very big, over 5 million subscribers, I think, at this point. He is just a doctor. He is not a conspiracy theorist. But all the conspiracy theorists were right. That's your problem. So, yeah, Jimmy Dore, John Campbell, both brilliant. Live and learn. Please, live and learn. All mocking aside, again, it's just trying to drill into you that you made a stupid mistake, and please do not make this mistake again, should this come around again, because listen to the people who actually look into things, maybe, you know what I mean? You've got three options: the government and powers that be, who have proved that they don't fucking like you, the people you know and your friends, maybe tick that box, or listen to yourself, who knows fuck all, clearly. So, there you go, there's your options. I would listen to your friends who look into stuff. That's the best of the three there. So, yeah, there you go. Good video. If you want to watch the rest of it, come over to the Jimmy Dore. But good information. Bad information in many ways, I suppose, but good information. I'll leave it there. Peace.